we have to win. Are you... Wow. My microphone was not recording audio that entire time. I am really not feeling it now. Okay, like I said, I was feeling like shit today because I had an excruciating bike ride to the food bank and back yesterday. Let me get rid of this now. And only when I got to the food bank did I realize that I had not one, but two flat tires. Usually I'm so fastidious about checking to make sure that my tires are properly full of air. But apparently this time I just missed the mark, and as a result, I had to make the bike ride that much harder for myself. And it's like 5 kilometers there, 5 kilometers back. The 5 kilometers back, so it's about 3 miles, is entirely uphill. It's very painful. Even on an e-bike. Like, an e-bike makes it possible, but not not the greatest thing. It is good exercise, though. I will say that. It is a very good exercise. Who do I want to play today? I think I will be Birdo. I'm feeling the Ampharos right now. That's what I'm going to do. Anyways, I was gone for about 10 minutes. Both in terms of technical problems and in terms of, like, I just had to duck out and use the restroom real quick. What is going on? Hello? Uh, yeah. Okay. Great, thank you. For some reason, all my devices in OBS reset themselves, so apparently there was no audio coming from either me or the game. That should be fixed now. Alright, gonna add an extra 10 minutes to the end of stream, because I was gone for about 10 minutes at the start. I've got the links up for the stuff that I want to talk about, which, to give you guys a preview, the first thing is, or not necessarily in sequence, Donald Trump and his vice president pick J.D. Vance. And then I also wanted to talk about socialism as a concept and how, like, surprisingly simple it is. You know, you guys know I'm very theory brained at times. I have a decent understanding, at least I think, of what socialism is or can be. But there's a Wikipedia article about syndicates that makes it even simpler. So I'll get to that in a sec, or in a little while. And then I also wanted to talk about Israel and the Olympics. The Olympics being, you know, cringe, and Israel making the Olympics even more cringe by posting cringe at the Olympics. All right, let's go. I don't think we got to do Remix Vanilla Lake, did we? So let's do that. Let's get into it. I'm gonna need to catch my breath before I start on anything, though. Okay. Electrodrome. This track is cool. Whoa, it's also very laggy. Oh my gosh. I have a feeling that a not insignificant amount of this lag is as a result of me, because I'm playing on a Wii U. And it's possible that other people in the room are playing on Dolphin Emulator. Wow, this is slow. What is going on with Toadette? They are lagging all over the place. Where's Waluigi? He disappeared? I am alone now. What is going on? There's Toadette, for some reason. Have I been quarantined? Have I been put in, like, a, Okay, maybe it wasn't me that was the source of that lag. Okay. Very, very strange race. Second? Huh? I don't know what's going on there. There's a lot of lag in this room. Uh-oh. There's a player with the me name spelled wrong. I don't know if that bodes particularly well. Alright. Let's get started on the stuff today. Where is the React Andy? There it is. Alright, you guys are getting some React content. Some good stuff. Yeah. You go up there. Shit, actually, you come back down here for now. I'll have to address that in a second. Basically, Trump did a speech recently, or a rally. He spoke at like a TPUSA event. TPUSA was in an attempt for the far right to get some inroads into like the youth vote, which failed spectacularly. Most of the people that show up there are, you know, older folks, typical of the GOP base. But nonetheless, they did try. And they are, basically, at this point, they're just a fascist think tank like all the rest. So Trump sometimes, I guess, could, like, let the mask slip a little bit. You know, not entirely uncommon. Okay, let's quit. It looks like the room split. This gives me an opportunity to do this. All right. Anyways, he said some things that were notable, I think. There. Put you up here. React Andy, properties. There it is. Open it up. Perfect. So Trump gave this speech at a Turning Point USA event, and I think it's worth taking a look at. All right, only 3 people, I guess, because he said some stuff.
We have to win this election, most important election ever. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have.
Again, to me, it's quite interesting that Trump would be trying to galvanize the base to vote by saying go and vote, because anybody who would vote Trump, it was already going to vote Trump. but like anybody who's undecided is more likely to vote for Kamala Harris now than Donald Trump. The old refrain that I go to: when more people vote, Democrats win. But that's not the most important bit.
Vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time.
Just this time. I wonder.
You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed.
You won't have to do it anymore.
You won't have to vote anymore.
You won't have to vote anymore.
I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good.
Yet another time. And four times. 4 times he said, you're not going to have to vote again. Very short clip, but I think it's worth examining. People have debated about whether or not Trump said, I am a Christian in a weird way, or whether he said, I'm not Christian. That doesn't matter. Don't get hung up on that. It doesn't matter whether he said one or the other, because the message is the same. My far-right Christian gooners, I love you. Go and vote for me. You won't have to vote again. And now, of course, the sort of half-baked defense for that is, oh, you know, I'm going to fix things so good in one term, you won't have to worry about it next time, because whoever wins, it's like impossible for them to mess it up. But even that, the most charitable interpretation, is part of the fascist mythos. I will return to that momentarily, but I think it's more warranted to just take a look at the most obvious and straightforward interpretation, which is that Trump is going to get rid of free and fair elections if he wins. He has alluded to this before. They've done very sloppy, very thinly veiled rhetoric to this effect, where they say that effectively, oh, the election can only be fair if we win, right? Like, that's rhetoric that the Republicans have engaged in before, which is effectively them saying, yeah, we don't believe in free and fair elections because we only like the elections when we win. But in this case, Trump is not even putting up that much of a veneer and saying that, look, if I win, you won't have to vote again. The obvious implication being because there won't be another election to vote in. You know, combine that with like Trump saying, "Oh, I'll be a dictator, but only on day one." And it is the most obvious thing to everybody in the world that Trump is going to win the election, or that if Trump does win the election, what he plans to do is just become a fascist dictator. And at this point, anybody who plays defense for Trump and what he says here is so oblivious to the point of being willfully ignorant, such that I would consider them just as much a fascist as anybody towing the Trump line. If you can't see the kind of rhetoric that's being constructed here, it's because you're not willing to see it. You don't want to see it at this point, right? So that's that. That's the most obvious interpretation. Now I want to actually get to the most charitable possible interpretation, which again is not warranted because Trump warrants no degree of charity in the interpretations of things that he says. He has not demonstrated any good intention that would merit such charitability. The charitable intention is, oh, you don't have to vote again, or you don't have to worry about voting again, because I will have fixed the economy so good that it won't matter who's president next time. You'll have me to thank or whatever. And that is still part of the fascist mythos. You see, the fascists are an inherently non-materialist, like anti-materialist and like eccentric spiritual group of people. And part of the fascist myth is essentially that the degenerates must be purged from society, that democracy must be abolished, so that the sources of that degeneracy can be removed, and so that the fascists can bring about a hell on earth. This is, or not hell on earth, excuse me, slip of the tongue there, that's what it actually would be. Heaven on earth. This is actually, believe it or not, this is part of a different dialectic than dialectical materialism. This is part of dialectical idealism, something that Marxist teacher Friedrich Hegel was sort of the mastermind of that. That was his brainchild, and for him, the end state of dialectical idealism was the realization of the will of God through the German state. And while this might not be that in so many words, it is functionally the same thing. That the will of God will be enacted through Trump to bring about heaven on earth, such that democracy need not apply, concepts of diversity and freedom of choice need not apply. Like the degenerates will be gone, and it basically, it's the fascist version of the end of history myth. And that's the most charitable possible interpretation for what Trump is saying. The more realistic interpretation is just that he wants to get rid of democracy, which either way, he wants to get rid of democracy. There is no interpretation of this where Trump doesn't want to get rid of democracy. Because an inherent part of democracy is things changing. If you're preaching that you want to fix it forever, in the next 4 years, like you want to fix it so good that the next election won't matter, what you're fundamentally talking about is throwing out democracy in the trash bin, But that's not all I wanted to bring up with this speech as well. We all knew already that Trump doesn't like democracy because it's not terribly convenient to him, I guess. It's very, Trump does whatever's convenient for Trump, and what's convenient for Trump right now is to be fascist. In fact, to be a Nazi, because the Republican Party is a Nazi party, right? And this is certainly convenient for him within the Republican Party, right? Within the Nazi circles, this is convenient rhetoric for him to, amass and consolidate support. However, this is not a very good line when it comes to the broader American public. Even the most weirdo centrist types, like I mentioned when I was talking about Project 2025, even the dumbest, median voter type of person, if they are face to face with fascism, they don't like it. Fascism and an inherently almost unpopular set of ideas. Not even just in terms of policy, but a lot of times in terms of rhetoric, which is why it has to disingenuously appeal to populism. This is going to hit Trump hard. It has already been hitting Trump hard in the campaign cycle, and it is going to be used against him. It is an incredibly easy line to go for that, Trump just wants to end democracy in America, disempowering you, the average American, disempowering you, the average black American, the average American woman, the average American queer person, whatever it is, right? Trump wants to disempower you. His movement wants to disempower you and strip democracy away. And all of that is correct. And it is God's gift to the fucking Kamala Harris campaign that Trump has very little sense of what makes for good optical politics right now. So as insidious as the rhetoric is and sounds and whatnot and all that, this is actually incredibly good for the left and people who are not fascists, because it's more of the Republican Party shooting itself in the foot. They gave away the game too early. They consolidated too early. They overplayed their hand, and now their support is going to dry up. Not necessarily from within the base. Like I said, it is a cult. Everybody inside of that cult, firmly inside of the cult, is thoroughly committed. However, there are two things that could do against them. First, like I said, anybody who's outside the cult is going to be even more distanced from the cult as a result of that kind of rhetoric. Fascism, very many cult-like tendencies. And furthermore, there are some people inside of the cult who may be on the fringes and may be de-radicalized in part because of these statements. And my timer is misbehaving. There we go. The important thing is, this has the possibility to cost Trump support, as well as to alienate people from Trump who already didn't support him. It doesn't have the potential to gain any support from the outside, which is, like I said, consistent with the Republican Party having consolidated actually too early, and dropping the mask too much before people were primed to be more accepting of that kind of rhetoric. They went too fast. They, like I said, overplayed their hand. I'm just pulling these out. Anyway, future me, if I make that a segment, which I may want to, I think that's some good analysis, some easy content, you know, Trump free content machine. Cut the segment there. I'll get rid of these. Oh, okay. That was triple greens, not triple reds. I did not know that was a shortcut. I might want to practice that if I do any shortcuts, because I like shortcuts like that. I'm gonna get rid of that. Just kind of cruising along in second, for the most part. Oh, shit. Wow, we were really far ahead of the rest of the pack. What was I gonna look at? Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me just go off the cuff for this one. There's actually too much floating around for me to refer to any one thing. J.D. Vance. Man, was I, Well, no, actually, I don't think I was wrong to say that he was the safe pick for like, a consolidated Republican base, right? But, I didn't fully expect the ramifications of that, which is that, like, you know, yeah, he wouldn't really upset anybody within the base, but he's also, like, toxic to everybody outside the base. Like, he's such a fucking weirdo, you know? Like, first of all, J.D. Vance is a Nazi, a more hardcore Nazi even than a lot of Republicans, which is a difficult feat to accomplish, given that the Republican Party is just a Nazi party at the moment. Like, he was a Nazi from some of the, like, early 4chan days and whatever. Like, he's one of those kinds of Nazis. Granted, all Nazis are usually massive weirdos. Get rid of that. Ah, shortcut's blocked. Okay. I think everybody who has heard the name J.D. Vance recently probably knows about the whole haha fucked a couch meme. whether or not that's true, right, is not going to be remembered. I've kind of said this about, like, how J.K. Rowling used to be viewed as a progressive, but, like, that's not her legacy. Whether or not, almost like how J.K. Rowling is going to be remembered more for her Holocaust denial than for writing popular children's books, J.D. Vance is not going to be remembered as, you know, the guy, like, people aren't going to remember that J.D. Vance didn't fuck a couch. They're going to remember the discourse that, man, this guy, like, had a lot of buzz around him fucking couches. They're going to remember that that was the discourse. They're not necessarily going to remember that he did or didn't. You know? Which is a massive stain on his image in terms of, like, political optics. Like, it's bad optics that they pick J.D. Vance for the outside. Now, like I said, the inside, like, the base of the Republican Party, they don't care. Which is why J.D. Vance on paper seemed like a sound pick at the time. At least for the he's like the consolidation pick, like I said. But, you know, it kind of, that comes as a double-edged sword. You don't offend the base. You get somebody who's not going to upstage Trump. But then, ironically, through how offensive he is to everybody else, you end up dominating the discourse anyways. You know? It's another one of those things that's not going to cost them support from the base, but it is going to cost them support everywhere else that isn't the base. And including the fact that, like, if you account for the fact that he is known to be into dolphin erotica, that isn't a debunked thing, by the way. That's confirmed. He searched for women and dolphins in the same search. You know, infinite guesses as to what that means. That's gonna, like, really alienate people on the outside, and like, it might even have some adverse consequences on the inside. We'll see. Oh, those aren't low tricks? Interesting. Just gonna get rid of that. Ow. Damn. Really sent me off. Oh, nice. Scrub dodge. I just realized also I need to move my camera back to the bottom corner. Oh, not quite. I slow on that guy. Unfortunate for them, for sure. I'll take second. I like that track. I like Remix Rainbow Road. Alright. Timer. Back on top with you. Okay. Wool, I think. Nice. My webcam is only minimally misbehaving, which is fine. Alright, my webcam moves around a lot for the kind of stuff that I do, because, you know. I mean, I could have the video segments in the top left, or in the top right, and then have me in the bottom right, but I don't know. I know that one. Remix. Remix Choco Island. What is that one? Oh, I know what it is. That's cool. I haven't played it before, I think. Okay. Alright. Oh, this track. This track's cool. Last time I played this, I was on Spear, I think. Which was, a journey, let's say. Didn't get a mini turbo there, which is unfortunate, but you know, work with what you got. This is a really good port. I think it could use some, like, more sticky road, I guess, but pretty solid overall. The shape and scaling of the track is very good. Oh, I got him. I'm gonna put that there. This slidey road can be difficult to control on, and I hit somebody, but they were in the back, so... Also, I very much like having the textures fixed such that I can, like, I've got the, like, the mini-map textures are all correct now as well. I meant to throw that backwards. Hidden banana spot? Barely lived. Holy... And I still got first. Wow. I think I drove very skillfully that race. There was a very tenuous risk reward in continuing to drive forward after I saw the blue shell was coming. But I think I made the right decision by trying to say, okay, I'm going to get hit by the blue in such a way that I land on the mushroom pad. And I barely landed on the mushroom pad. That could have been... could have had disastrous consequences if it didn't work. But in my head, I was like, this is going to work. I guess I just knew. Oh yeah, by the way, I mentioned that JD Vance is a massive weirdo and likes to fuck dolphins or whatever. That is also going to be incredibly large amounts of ammunition for the Harris campaign, because they've already been saying, like, yeah, Trump is a fraudster and a crook and a civilly liable rapist, and now they can just say, yeah, and JD Vance likes dolphins, like he fucks dolphins. Great. He's a Nazi dolphin fucker. And that could just be the campaign, and everybody would like instant Kamala Harris sweep, you know? Because as much as it may pain any of us to acknowledge, a lot of elections are dictated by vibes, especially in a country where the sort of bar for political education is much lower. In Europe, you still have, in some ways, a politics dictated by who can communicate the best vibes, but there's a little bit more policy involved in the vibes, if that makes sense, right? Like, you know, the vibes usually revolve around certain politics that are, like, in reference to concrete sets of policies. Like, a lot of times austerity politics as a set of talking points will be part of a campaign platform, whether you're campaigning for austerity politics or against it, you know? But that's still, like, you're constructing a vibe there. In America, it's a little bit different, where you kind of, like, the vibes are much more nebulous. Like, you actually don't really get even something as policy specific as austerity politics, interestingly enough, you know? Not that you would really need to when you're running against a fascist who's been convicted of several felonies and a Nazi dolphin fucker. Hi, welcome back, Globalize My Agenda 69. I'm just holding on to this. Oh, I got a low truck. Ooh. Hit him? Not quite. I didn't get a mini turbo there, but that's fine. You know what? This guy's my blue shell shield. Speak of the devil. Oh boy. And I know he doesn't have a mushroom. Man, they got him off the track. They did my boy dirty. Dude, EJ's been getting fucked up. I've been following, like, he's been up here in, like, the top spots with me the past couple races. And I, like, in the past 2 or 3 races, he's been, like, blued 4 times, got hit by me once with, like, a fake item box, and like, been basically robbed of first place 3-ish times. That time he got first, so, you know, deserved on his part, but, you know, holy shit. That's some DJ Khaled shit, like, suffering from success right there. Choco Island 1 Remix. Oh wait, I think I played this one when I was on Mario Standard Bike. Either way, this is a fun track. There are some very cool tracks in Retro Rewind. Some cool tracks in CTGP as well, but I've explained my problems with that pack. What do we got here? Wario Stadium, alright. After this one, I'll be able to give a lead-in for the next thing I wanted to talk about, which is great. Or, you know, I could just do that right now. Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna flex my live streamer skills, commentate about politics and theory as I'm racing, you know? You guys, you know, see if you can keep up. So I actually recently I've decided to sort of resume my reading kick in some form or another, since I've been studying for my certification, whatever, and it seems like I might get a something of a break in the next, like, however long. And I think I'm going to pick up reading The Mass Psychology of Fascism. Very important book, and I think I want to read it just to get a much more academic look at the inside of a fascist brain, to sort of, if nothing else, confirm, like, impressions I've been given about, like, the sexual insecurity of the fascists, the obsession with cuckoldry, the obsession with a plot by the black man to fuck their wife or something like that. But there was also something else that I checked out recently that I was somewhat interested in, which is the concept of syndicalism. I talk a lot about trade unions and well, workers' unions in general, and labor activism and stuff like that, because, you know, I care about the rights of the workers, and also, like, I'm a socialist. That's kind of that is more or less, like, that's one of the main things that my politics revolves around. So I looked for the article for a syndicate. I wondered, like, okay, I guess I wanted to know, like, what are all the kinds of syndicates you would typically hear referred to? And in fact, what I wanted to do was take a a look at anarcho-syndicalism, which is kind of it's been referred to in some ways as kind of a meme. The Monty Python skit. We live in an anarcho-syndicalist commune, and that sort of shit. But what I discovered was that it was actually way less complicated than I was making it out to be in my brain. In fact, it's quite simple. Socialism as a set of principles is quite simple. It's something I realized after reading the wiki article. You can formulate a socialist society based solely on things that already exist. Right? Organizing principles that already exist. Some in varying degrees of scale, for sure, but so if we go, I'm just on the Wikipedia article for syndicate. So let's start with etymology, just some basic stuff. The word syndicate comes from the French word syndicat, which means administrator or representative. Syndic meaning administrator, from the Latin word syndicus, which comes from the Greek word syndikos, which means caretaker of an issue, compared to ombudsman or representative, right? So, it's a representative structure. And then let's go 2 down. We got labor syndicates, main article, trade union. A syndicate, labor syndicate or worker syndicate, can also meet a trade union. So the two words, a union or a syndicate of the workers, can be used interchangeably. In fact, the word for a union in French is a syndicat. That's that root word. And so you take from that, and you go say, like, okay, well then, judging by that, what does the term syndicalism or anarcho-syndicalism or worker syndicalism, what does that mean? And once I get to a convenient spot, I will read from the article again. Random green shell, thank you, very cool. Okay. So, in the sense of a worker syndicate or a labor syndicate or what have you, this wiki article says this is associated with anarchist theory. So it gets into the nerdy shit. But the basics of it is that anarcho-syndicalism is a system where trade unions are the government. Like the government, instead of there being a state with bureaucrats and whatnot, the economy is a mishmash of decentralized trade unions, workers' unions, and workers' syndicates. Basically, you take something like the UAW or the National Labor Relations Board, and you say, that's the government now. Although I'll have to double check that in a second, but it really simple concept. I've only gotten 2 boxes this race. Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah, here we go. Anarcho-syndicalism, in which trade unions form an alternative to both the nation-state and capitalist corporations. Anarchist syndicalists and other libertarian socialists use the word syndicate to refer to an enterprise managed by its workers. Such an enterprise is governed by a face-to-face meeting of everybody who works there, in which each worker has 1 vote. Either there are no managers, or the managers are directly elected and recallable. Basically just a miniature democracy. In either case, the most important decisions are made collectively by the whole workforce. This is known as worker self-management. So there you have it. Socialism is as simple as just having a miniature democracy for every business. That's it. And, if the word anarcho-syndicalism seems really big and scary, just think of it as that, and then the trade unions. You know, you have the democratic businesses, and then you have the like the unions as well. The unions are the government, and that's it. That's socialism, or that's a form of socialism. It can be complicated, but it can also, you can simplify it real nicely. Meanwhile, fascism actually gets more complicated the more you look, because it doesn't make any sense. You know, if you analyze fascism a certain way, it can be quite simple because it's all based off of emotional appeals to insecurity. But that requires a certain psychological knowledge of people. This really doesn't. You can just take the structure of the basic structure of any country that is regarded as democratic and just transpose that into a business and be like, well, there you go. That's socialism. So, you know, if Walmart were a giant democracy made up of smaller democracies, that would be a socialist business. And if you have a world in which those are the kinds of businesses that are run and operated, like that's the only kind of business, that's how the economy runs, that is a socialist world. It's not that difficult. It's not that complicated. And guys, it's not scary. I know a lot of socialists even like to do this, where they will make socialism sound a little bit scary and like revolutionary and all that different and stuff like that. It's really not. It's just, you know, it's basically just an extension of all the stuff Adam Smith talked about. Adam Smith, if he were alive today, I firmly believe this, would be a socialist because he had a distinct critical view of like how disproportionate the power was on the part of like unelected feudal lords and you know, people who didn't work for a living and like basically the rich and powerful controlling everything. And socialism is a great way to, at least in large part, address that. You know, and just to recap, it is as simple as a democratic business. That's it. At the risk of further making a mountain out of a molehill, I will leave it there. Feel free to read the wiki article for yourself too. It is an incredibly short section of the article. You know, if you do a deep dive into syndicalism, it will get more complicated because there are many different types of socialism. There are a lot of different ways to have a democratic system. You know, there are a lot of different types of democracies out there in terms of countries. That is reflected in the business world as well. You could have theoretically a lot of different types of democracies in the economy. And that's reflected in the sort of breadth of the socialist movement. But the introductory bit where it's like, okay, here's the basic concept. Here's what makes socialism socialism. Very short, very simple. Future me, end the segment there. Well, there's EJ again. I'm not going to red you. Yeah, there we go. I got a soft spot for him. Trying to not give him a worse experience than he's been having the past however long. Ow! Ow, that gives you a low trick? What the hell? Oh, this is a great spot to use a golden. Somehow didn't get a trick. That's okay, I suppose. What's up, player? I need an item. I really need an item. That shock actually bought me some time, which is nice. But either way, I still need an item. What? I'm in first? Interesting. Okay, this is a good item to have. And I win, I guess. Cool. Nice. You know, one thing I really appreciate about the having Ampharos as a custom texture over Birdo is it gives me a reason to play Birdo. I'm not the biggest fan of Birdo's design. I don't know what about it. It seems like the pink in juxtaposition with all the spots and bumps and stuff. Just something about it doesn't quite do it for me, I guess. It's a soft color, but then it's meant to be a rough, distinctively not soft kind of texture. I think that creates some dissonance. Also, I think Birdo's head is a little bit too big, and it doesn't really make sense in a way that Yoshi's design does, where Yoshi has a really big nose and he's been known to use his nose to hit people. Birdo just has like a big snout. Big like newt mouth. So either way, I prefer Ampharos. And besides, Ampharos is one of my favorite Pokemon. Added bonus. Ow. Okay, at least I don't get bumped off for that. I thought I could go inside of that banana. I was incorrect. Alright. I have to use this here. Otherwise I'm just not going to be back in it. Okay. That works. Actually, I'm starting to like Trump more and more. Why? Because he's a fascist and you're also a fascist? If so, that checks out. What possible reason could you have to like Trump more at this stage in the game? He's become nothing but less funny and less likable. Like, what's wrong with you? Legitimately. Imagine how much free time you'll have when you don't need to vote anymore. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I already talked about that. Dude, voting takes fucking 5 minutes. What do you talk about how much free time you'll have? Jesus. Dude, this is one thing I hate about both the left and the right. They make voting out to be such a huge thing. That sounds wonderful. Yeah, an extra 5 minutes for the cost of your rights and all the queer people in your life. Sure sounds great. Like, I've read Project 2025 out loud. I don't need to explain why a Republican victory would be fucking disastrous. And I don't need to explain why... What? 5 minutes, almost a whole round of CSGO? True. So what did we learn? People who play CSGO are fascists. Very true. Luckily, I am not one such person. So much time. Oh, this is the older version of... What's it? Lakeside Park? Riverside Park? This is one of the park tracks. Why did you throw that backwards? God damn. Must be stream sniping or something. Okay, that works. Nice. Ooh, okay. Oh, you got a mushroom. I have 3 mushrooms now. Oh, okay. I almost couldn't make that work, but it worked out. Okay. I have a mushroom in first. Okay, thankfully this guy's in first now, so he's going to be taking any blue shells. I'm going to wait for him to throw something, and I'll use my mushroom. Okay, I have to use it now. You can have first, dude. I'm slower anyways. You know, I'm on Birdo. Oh! Oh, they target shocked first and second! Oh no, but they're gonna be able to do the shortcut now. Unless I can also do the shortcut. Yes, EJ finally getting first. Without getting fucked up the whole race. Nice. God, that shortcut is kind of difficult. Alright. Yes. Now it's time to talk about Israel posting cringe again. This is like ancillary to the genocide they're committing because one of the favorite activities of fascists who are in the midst of committing a genocide is to play the victim as they are doing said genocide. The Germans did this during World War II. The Russians do this, or rather the Russian government does this. Russia does this in Ukraine. Israel does this in Palestine, in the Gaza Strip. And I'm sure if you could really unearth some of the details of other genocides that happened before World War II, you would find the same paradigm. In fact, the Soviet Union also did this when they were genociding Ukrainians in the 1920s, the Holodomor. Israel has been whining about the fact that it can't do all of the sort of bring the hostages home talking points at the Olympics, but people are allowed to depict the IDF bombing soccer fields and hospitals and schools and such, all of which the IDF has, of course, been doing. Interestingly, I haven't seen any of the posts about this refute the notion that, like, yeah, Israel is bombing schools, hospitals, and like parks and things like that. All of the artifices of civilian life, basically. The line has mostly shifted to, yeah, they're doing it, but it's good, actually. You know, the IDF is bombing these places, but that's good, actually. One of the screenshots is of a bunch of Olympic swimmers in a pool, and they form the words "bring them home," referring to the hostages. Now, obviously, it would be good if the hostages were returned home. You know that'd be nice. That'd be good, I think. But the people who frequently broadcast this message on an international stage are very disingenuous in their advocacy, because the most genuine advocates are principally interested in hounding Netanyahu in Israel to bring home the hostages. He has been the principal obstacle to bringing home to releasing the hostages because he actually just wants to perpetuate the war as long as he can, either to stay in power, to exterminate Palestinians. For Netanyahu, I imagine it's like a win-win scenario in that respect. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much there really is to say. It like I don't want to do the they cry out in pain as they strike you thing. That's a thing that fascists typically do. In fact, that like it was originally invoked by the Nazis as an anti-Semitic trope against Jews, but they invoked it because it is projection. That is what the Nazis did to the Jews as they were putting them in concentration camps. That's what the Russian what the Soviets did to the Ukrainians as they were confiscating grain and exporting it while there was famine at home. That's what the Israelis are doing to the Palestinians as the IDF is bombing the already bombed out ruins of Gaza. Like, there's not going to be anything left. And meanwhile, Israel is so entitled that it's pitching a fit at the Olympics. Notably, I don't think Palestine is competing in the Olympics. Thank you. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's also notable that the swimmers formed the words like "bring them home," because in order to do so, they had to be in a swimming pool and floating and showing off their ability to swim. And meanwhile, there actually is no water in Gaza. They are swimming in water for fun. Meanwhile, in Gaza, there's no water to drink. Absolute demon shit. This is like the eventual end state of all fascism. Is just we will like eliminate X minority group and try to put on a show of us being aggrieved while doing so, Yeah, that's what you get. Donkey Kong. No. Barely. Out. I'm gonna start using this here. I don't think there's been a shock yet, interestingly. This has been a really, like, item lacking session for me thus far. Sure, I'll use this. Wow. Okay. Thank you for not hitting me. Wow, this is a close pack. Get me up there. Whoa, whoa, whoa. People are lagging all around me. And I somehow got fourth. Okay. This room is full of Funky Kongs, and I'm here on Birdo. I'm repping. I'm down to rep the fucking weirdo characters, I am very down to just do that. Oh boy. As of 2:09 p.m., ZPL, this is the guy that created the pack, I guess. Just reminding y'all that in the next hour, the update will be released, as well as server maintenance 15 minutes before that. Yeah, that's right. There was going to be an update this weekend, so I guess I'll play until that happens, and then I'll decide what to do. Oh, I love Royal Raceway. Making it work, guys. We're making it work. Okay. Oh, this is a great alignment. Okay. I'm gonna use this here. Just catch up a bit. No, I didn't get an item. That's unfortunate. Wow, they dodged first? Damn. That's like bad practice in a worldwide. You know, there's like an etiquette. It's like of what to do, what not to do. You are not supposed to dodge first with the shock. Look how much of a lead they have. Holy shit. I guess I got somebody. Okay. Damn. Whoever dodged first in the cannon killed that race. Single-handedly, too. I guess if they were teaming, it makes sense. But that's also kind of bad practice for worldwides. Alright. Mario Circuit 1. Use this here. I have 2 mushrooms in third, and I'm dead. Wow, thanks. Why? Bro, people really just be going for you. Or going for me, I guess. I guess I'm definitely an easy target. I'm an easy mark because I'm the only Birdo in the room. I mean, I'm the only a lot of things in the room. I'm dodging this guy. Both of us were in the back. I feel like it's justifiable. Ow. Asshole. Okay, through shrooms. Not bad. Oh, perfect. Ow, you fuck. Ruined my golden. Stop! Jesus. That could have gone worse, but it felt like everything went wrong for me in particular. Some of it being my own doing, and some of it being the fact that fucking people just blew me up at the beginning of the race. I have no doubt that somebody in the room is stream sniping, and somebody in the room is teaming with somebody else. Or rather, and or. Because that would be the only reasonable thing that explains the, like, first being dodged, and, like, the fucking fiasco at the end of last race at the beginning of this one. Yes. I'm going with that. Like, this is harder than I usually get fucked on a Mario Kart Wii Worldwide. Even in CTGP, when I'm off stream, I don't get fucked up this bad. Alright, come on, give me something. Or it could also be that I'm the only Birdo in the room. Trying to bully me onto Funky Flame Runner. I ain't having it. Okay. This works. Of course, being in first with no item is an inherently very dangerous position to be in. So, well, now I have an item. That's good. That was kind of sloppy end turn, but they're all fighting it out back there, so I assume I'm okay for the time being. Okay, he's gonna come through. That's okay for me because he's first now and I'm second, so I have red shell and blue shell protection. Oh, that's good. That's good for me. Cool. That was a much better race. I think this is going to be a shorter stream. 1.5 hours. It's hot today. I'm really tired from yesterday, having gone to the food bank and stuff. I wanted to relax a bit this weekend, and I'm not going to get a chance to do that unless I pace myself, which I am bad at, but I'm getting better at. You know, I wanted to relax today, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that thus far. Not really, anyways. Well, that's not true. I got a little bit of a chance to relax this morning, but, you know. Morning was not terribly long, for me, because I woke up a little bit later than I would have wanted to. I'm a morning person. I really am. I want to wake up early, so I feel like I have more time in the day. But, lately, with all the things, like, either going on in politics, going on in my life, going on ancillary to me, it's like, it's hard for me to get my sleep schedule back on track. Okay. A good track. Somebody's gonna hit that. I don't know if somebody's gonna hit that, but I don't care. care that much. That was just to get rid of it, really. People are going to be gaining time on me because I'm much slower character vehicle combo. Add a banana to the wall. No, I tried to cut off too much. That's an okay shock for me. Certainly didn't devastate me. I'm still before the boxes. One mushroom? I'm okay with that. Ow! You son of a bitch. Okay. Ready if I'm gonna... Ah, I didn't get the shock. I can't dodge you. Unfortunate. I'm gonna use this after this section here. Alright, let's go. Oh, he's gonna get got. Yes! No! You son of a bitch. Get a fake item box. Ah, damn it. I think that was just bad luck. I can't pinpoint any decisions that I made that were necessarily that bad. The shortcut was one. And then I think that was it. There's nothing I could have done about that star. That guy was aiming for me. Like, he drove directly into me. I saw him turn a little bit as he was driving into me. So that wasn't something I could do anything about. Really, the only mistake I made, which arguably is what cost me the race ultimately, was that shortcut where I fell off. I think if I don't fall off there, I have a much better race. That guy doesn't star me because I'm not in a position where he just drives intentionally into me. And then I don't get so far behind that, you know, I have to make like a messy comeback, and then the, you know, the red shell combined with that guy's fib. In retrospect, maybe I could have like gone a little bit wider, expecting that guy to have something to pop out of him. But I don't think that would have been a reasonable expectation that this guy's in a position to have triple reds and just happens to also have a fib. So yeah, I'm comfortable like compartmentalizing that to me failing the shortcut that one time. Get an item that already doesn't bode terribly well. Why? Well, stream sniping is why, ultimately, but yeah. Alright, golden mushroom. That's okay. Never mind, I guess I'm going this way. Ow. Jesus. Alright. I think I know where I want to use this, too. And that is right here. If I go up here... Nice. And I get the box. Sick. Got a mushroom. Cool. Do people not know you can do this shroomless? I wonder. Ah, damn it. I was trying to shroom into the boxes, but I got the worst possible outcome. I'm now in first with 0 items. Okay, well, I have an item. I'm fully expecting a blue shell to come out of nowhere and just own me. Okay, bomb. Cool. Not ideal, but we take those. Some people know you can do that shroomless, I guess. Okay. Holding this for dear life. That shock is actually okay for me. And I get first. Nice. That's going to be the last race of the session, I think. For me, at least. Alright. Yeah. I made really good choices that race, I think. Get me out of here. Jesus. You know, maybe it's also... It could also be... As I've experienced this before, it could also be the case that... the heat is getting to me, and it like makes me have a hard time playing a faster paced game. So, anyways. Lumiru is live, so why don't y'all have fun with her? Have fun with Lumiru. She does a lot of theory stuff.